Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're looking at something I think we've all seen pop up in our feeds. You know, those ads for, say, a $50 leather jacket or a cashmere sweater for 35 bucks.
Right, from a store that looks surprisingly professional.
Exactly. The one we're digging into is called Lovani Mode. The photos are stunning, but the prices, they just feel way too good to be true.
And that's usually the first clue.
Yeah. So our mission today is to reverse engineer this whole zero accountability model for you so you can see what's really happening behind the curtain.
And what's really fascinating here is that the entire foundation is built to, well, obscure reality. When you look at LovaniMode, what you find is a completely faceless drop shipping store.
What do you mean by faceless, like no About Us page?
Exactly that. There's zero brand identity, no story, no founder information you can look up. That lack of transparency is the first major red flag.
And the platform they're using, it's not Shopify or something we'd normally see, right?
Not at all. It
Okay.
runs on a Chinese e-commerce system called Yod, which is basically built for speed.
Speed over accountability.
Precisely. Unlike Shopify or WooCommerce, which have certain vetting processes, this is all about rapid deployment. A store can launch in just a few hours with automated product imports.
Wow.
The whole infrastructure is designed to bypass traditional business accountability.
So what about reviews? I mean, that's the first thing people check.
And that's the problem. We looked. There are zero customer reviews anywhere.
Anywhere.
Not on Trustpilot, not on Google, no social media, nothing. And crucially, the on-platform itself doesn't seem to require any verification for store owners.
So as a shopper, you have no way to vet who you're even giving your money to.
None.
Okay, so knowing this is a temporary, faceless operation, let's talk about what you're actually buying, that $50 jacket.
Well, you're buying the picture. The imagery is generic stock photography.
The kind you see on a dozen other sites that look exactly the same.
You got it. The expectation is set by a high-quality photo, not by an actual tangible item they've produced.
And the descriptions, I'm guessing, don't help much.
They're incredibly vague. You'll see minimal details on fabric. Just generic terms like leather or cashmere. Sizing charts are generic too. They're selling a professional image, not a guaranteed product.
That brings us to the pricing model, which has to be the most revealing part of this.
It is. Our sources suggest that a jacket they list for, say, $52 might only cost them $15 wholesale.
Whoa, that's a markup of over 300%.
They're betting that the slick photos will make you believe it's worth a premium.
And what happens at checkout? I've heard things can get a little strange there.
They can. Often you'll place an order in US dollars, but the transaction itself might switch to Chinese yuan.
Ah, okay.
And that connects to the shipping. You're looking at 14 to 30 days because the product ships directly from an overseas warehouse after you order it.
So after weeks of waiting, that expectation gap really hits home.
It really does. Customers report getting something that looks nothing like the photo. Thin pleather instead of leather, or, acrylic instead of cashmere.
That plastic smell.
Exactly. And if you want to return it, good luck.
Well, yes, customer service is just a generic email address.
You nailed it. No phone number, no live chat. Return policies are often buried. You have to chase them for a return address, making the refund process just deliberately difficult.
So to sum this up for you, what we're looking at is a zero accountability model. It's selling cheap imports at premium prices using misleading images. Quality is a total gamble.
Right. You're basically gambling on mystery box quality every single time.
So the key takeaway here is really about how to analyze these sites. Look for the basics, company info, detailed material sourcing, and most importantly, legitimate independent reviews.
Exactly.
I will say one small silver lining is that they often accept PayPal or major credit cards.
Which does offer some buyer protection.
It does if you're willing to fight for it. But the real damage is often the time and frustration of that huge gap between what you were promised and the cheap reality that shows up at your door.
And it leaves you with a question, right? If a product's entire business model relies on a 300% markup and making returns almost impossible, what does that say about the actual value being provided?
A great question to keep in mind. Always question what's really behind that tempting price tag. And as always, a quick note, this is educational commentary and not financial or purchasing advice. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.